This is a place.
This is the place?
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place.
Thank you for listening to This is a Place podcast. My name is Brandon, and I'm joined by a man who is the world's tallest leprechaun, Nate.
And you tried to be the world's tallest leprechaun, but you fell short.
Yeah. You know, I may have talked about this last year around this time, but I believed with all my heart in leprechauns as a wee lad.
Did you think you were of Irish descent?
Well, I mean, I am of Irish descent, but I, in my heart, believe leprechauns are real and would set traps to try and catch them every St. Patrick's Day. And convinced myself one time that I saw one on the swing in the backyard.
Who's to say you didn't see one?
I didn't.
You didn't?
No. But then I met you, the world's tallest leprechaun.
And all your luck changed. Life just continues to get better and better.
Yeah.
Yeah. One question I was wondering, and I just found the answer, is the Shamrock Shake back?
Yeah. Did you get the answer by seeing me wipe some off my face?
Is that what were you really?
No.
That's okay.
I've had quite a few of them, though.
Oh, I haven't really been paying attention. And then I'm like, oh, wait, St. Patrick's Day. Does McDonald's have the Shamrock Shake? I really have. I guess now that I think about it, because I've been to McDonald's a few times over the last few weeks, and I think they do have a what do you call it, advertisement on their menu about it. But I just checked the McDonald's app, and it's there, and I can't believe I haven't had one yet.
You can get the standard or get it with the Oreo. I always go standard. Still upset they don't have a cherry anymore, but I move on. I put my own in now.
You bought a jar of them?
Yep.
To put on top.
When I first had Instagram, my only pictures were 3 consecutive years of me having a Shamrock Shake.
Really?
Yep, that was all
so
I did.
You post once a year, and it happens to be St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, and I think I had one picture was a beach with a bird that I took and put a filter on and made it look real cool. But then other than that, it was only Shamrock Shakes.
So St. Patrick's Day is a pretty big day for you, then. Or at least one you want to remember.
Yeah.
In Instagram world.
I enjoy St. Patrick's Day food, Irish food. Corned beef is pretty good.
We bought a bunch of corned beef last year to try it. I think we've had it like twice over the last year, and it's not bad, but it's definitely not your typical like brisket.
It's a once a year type meat.
Yeah, and I do love isn't the Reuben sandwich, isn't that corned beef?
You saying from, or just a Reuben in general?
Just a Reuben in general, right? Isn't that corned beef?
Probably. I don't know enough to say yes or no, but that makes sense.
There was only a way to find out.
If only. Man, what did we do before we had phones and the internet?
Oh, we argued a lot. That's what you did. You argue and debate whether you were right or wrong. For example, you're probably too young. There's a band called Savage Garden, but
heard of them, yeah.
Kind of going back, like the only way to know song lyrics is if your band put the lyrics in their CD or cassette case in their like cover. If they didn't put the lyrics in there, you were just up to guess what the lyrics were. But we fought like one whole class, or debated one whole class the lyrics to a Savage Garden song. No, sorry, I apologize. He told me all the lyrics to the Savage Garden song one day in class. He just sat there and made me guess word for word what the lyrics were, because he memorized them. My friend, my best friend in high school. And then we argued over ABBA song and Erasure redid it called Take a Chance on Me, what the lyrics were for like weeks, just argued what the lyrics were. And there was no way to really prove it because you listen to it and what he thought he heard sounds like it. And then what was real, which I said was right. Turns out I was right.
Just to be clear,
Just
you
to be
were
clear,
right.
I was right. It's rare that I'm not right. So the sooner you learn that, the better your life is. I'm not wrong very often, but yeah, it's kind of funny how that works when there's comedians out there who do that with song lyrics, right? Where they say this is what they think they hear, and then when you hear it, you're like, yeah, it's could be that. Kind of like Sesame Street singing a bad word the other day. Well, it wasn't the other day, it was a few years ago. I just sent
when
you
you
the
sent
link.
it to me the other day.
We hear what we want to hear, Brandon. But the whole point of that story is the internet. So now, if you want to know who sings a song or a song lyric, within 2 seconds. So I feel like part of us has lost the ability to debate.
It's still going strong with you. You haven't lost it.
Yeah, well, it's funny because now people debate stuff when they are proven wrong and they still fight and say that it's true. Don't want to get too political, but the earth is flat. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But back to the original question, a Reuben sandwich does have corned beef, and I do like a Reuben sandwich. So I think that's the only way I really enjoy corned beef is in a Reuben. The way we do is like in a crock pot, and it's kind of nice. We do like the baked potatoes. You just peel them and cook it in there with them, so the potatoes are really soft when you bring them out. It's like just a baked potato type deal, but soft and yummy. But it's a different taste. The corned beef, right?
Yeah, it's acquired.
I'll just stick to my bowl of Lucky Charms for St. Patrick's Day
And I'll stick
my
to
Shamrock,
my Shamrock
shake.
shake.
And maybe I'll go to Arby's and get a Reuben. We'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
Well, I'm glad you're able to find the answer on the Reuben. There's a lot of great things the internet does for us. I think one of the greatest things is that we can know where we come from, where our heritage is, and that would have saved the first hour of plot for the movie we're talking about today.
Which is, how old is he? The kid
In
in
the
the
movie?
show? Yeah, he's like a junior or something like that,
yeah.
right?
Isn't he in junior high?
Is it junior high? Or is it high school?
I didn't pay attention enough to that, I guess. I feel like he was in junior high. But either way, how do you not know where you come from even in junior high or high school?
Here we go. 15-year-old basketball player Kyle Johnson.
Okay, so he's in high school.
So high school, if not ninth grade. Freshman, high school.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Sophomore. But it just seems weird that he's gone that long. And maybe it's just the culture that we live in, Brandon, being in Utah, where you're almost forced to know what your heritage is, right? And if you're not forced, then your parents or grandma or grandpa force it upon you to know your heritage.
But he was in Utah. That's the thing. And that's why we're doing an episode on it.
That's a great point.
So we've decided to do an episode on classic Disney Channel original movie, Luck of the Irish.
Just came out in 2001, which means it's only a few years after I graduated high school. So it was fun just to start off watching the movie and kind of having the flashbacks to high school, because that's probably pretty close to what my high school experience was like as far as the culture goes and the style, clothing and whatnot. But I did not realize how popular this movie really was among Disney fans. Like it's I believe ranked on one of the websites in the top 10 best Disney made for TV movies or something like that.
It's number 2 in my book for sure.
Number 2.
Oh,
what would be number one?
Is? High School Musical, man. But that's for another time. Just to give you a plot for this movie we're talking about. As you said, a 15-year-old basketball player, Kyle Johnson, is depending on a gold charm for luck as he learns that he is a leprechaun on the side of his mother. He needs to get it back to break a spell controlled by an evil leprechaun named Seamus McTiernan, who stole the coin.
And the plot thickens.
First off, He had a gold charm. How did he not know he was a leprechaun? Or
Well,
even from Ireland, for that matter.
even when the movie starts, I guess if you haven't seen the movie by now, then sorry, you might have some
Spoilers.
spoiler alerts. But just the way he like doesn't he basically like bat the ball like a handball or whatever, and it goes into the basket, and he never misses a shot. Like, at what point did they just like do you realize
He's had 15 years of this.
15 years of pure luck?
I guess if it's all you've experienced, it's kind of just whatever.
And how is he not more on the radar nationally for being the best basketball player in the world that's never missed a shot?
Yeah, exactly.
So, couple, what do they call it? Holes in the plot storyline. But when they remake the second one, maybe they'll answer all those questions.
I mean, maybe if you're a leprechaun, you're really gonna lean on the green. But in Ireland, they're not like all wearing green every day. But in this movie, they have green walls. Everything is green. His mom's always wearing green.
And that kind of brings up a question. Like, if they're trying to hide the fact that they are Irish, or spoiler alert, that they're leprechauns, like, why do they skirt around the question? Why don't they just make something up and say that they're from
Cleveland.
Cleveland? Well, they don't. Like, their ancestors, I'm like, why not just say from England or something like that? That's close enough to Ireland, right? To be like, we're from England, and that's where everybody's from, it seems like. So it just seems weird how, and it took till he's 15 years old for them to, I don't know. It was like they seemed way surprised when he asked, like, we didn't prepare for this. We didn't, how do we handle this?
Like they didn't have any preparation beforehand.
Right. And they hid the fact that his grandfather is a famous dude.
Rich potato factory or potato chip factory owner.
Not even that, potato chip inventor.
Oh, he invented the potato chip?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I mean, if he's been around for
According
2,000
to the
years.
movie.
I missed that part. On Wikipedia, it says parts of it were filmed in Utah and at Lagoon. But I think all of it was filmed in Utah, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't, yeah, maybe, well, even then, the factory, the potato chip factory, that'd probably be the only place that wasn't, because they showed the house, maybe the house was filmed in a studio,
Maybe, yeah.
but any outside shot, it's Utah. The high school,
Juan Diego.
you already mentioned Lagoon, which is way obvious. And yeah, my kid's like, hey, that's Lagoon. And then you can tell when they're chasing each other through town that that's just kind of like the industrial area, kind of west part of Salt Lake City. So yeah, I would argue that it was all filmed here in Utah.
Most, if not all. Did you catch the cameo in the movie?
Define cameo. Did you know there's two Utah actors in there?
I only saw one, so you're going to have to tell me the other one.
So the best one by far is Thurl Bailey, right?
Oh, yeah. And he had one of my favorite parts as he was watching the game. I think he was his friend's. Didn't really explain who he was, but I gathered that he's the friend's dad.
Oh, that makes sense.
I thought he was the coach, but then they showed a different coach. So he must have just been the dad because he was really excited. Well, I won't give away that part yet. But at the beginning, my favorite part is it shows him and he's reacting to something that happens before it even happens. I mean, he's Thurl Bailey. He's got vast basketball knowledge, so he probably knew beforehand what was going to happen.
And even Thurl Bailey didn't notice how lucky this kid was.
Yeah. So who was the other cameo?
Not really cameo. He's the one the act. Well, cameo, whatever. Charles Halford. He was. I think he's one of the assistants to the bad leprechaun.
The one at the very beginning when he walks into Lagoon?
Oh, so I think when they're in the RV, he's standing behind that guy.
Okay.
Yeah, Charles is. I think he's kind of close to my age, but I think he went to Hotwood High School and he's done a bunch of movies.
But you recognized him. I don't think I know who he is.
Okay, I'll tell the truth. I didn't recognize him. My wife did because she went to school with him.
Oh, okay.
So
you think he went to Cottonwood, but he did because your wife went to Cottonwood and
yeah,
she knew him.
yeah. And turns out I'm actually like a month and a half older than him. So
Obviously, we need to have him on. We should have had him on for this episode. Gosh
I
dang it!
know, too little, too late, right? Since Thurl Bailey turned us down. Just kidding. We did not reach out to Thurl Bailey. So yeah, we've got two, and I'm sure hundreds of extras.
I mean, all
That
those
were
people,
from
Lagoon. Sure, they didn't
Lagoon, the
fly them out.
basketball game. Sure, there's a ton of people that were involved. But I'll bring up a couple interesting facts before we go over the storyline
All right.
that I found out. Number one, certain. Did you know the Halloween? No, Halloween Town. That's another movie from Disney, right? Where they also filmed at Juan Diego. So that's another. We'll have to do that one come Halloween. So there's that Quinky Dink. One of the actors that I thought the bad leprechaun you'll recognize if you ever watch Psych, which was kind of cool. And then Kyle's teammate, the main character, his teammate, Drake, is the one who makes High School Musical happen because he's the MC that hands the mic to Zach and Vanessa at the beginning of High School Musical to get them to sing together.
Is he now?
Mm-hmm. So that's a little trivia for you.
So that guy's been on a lot of Disney shows. I couldn't find any trivia for this one. There's not much information available, so it's more than I could come up with.
So I covered it for you. So we're good.
So I guess the reason why Kyle decides he wants to learn about his family is they've got this Heritage Day going on, which, by the way, is so public television.
Heritage Day?
Yeah, that was one of the comments that was made.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
He starts asking the questions. They're having dinner. He asks, is this like Italian food? What is this? I mean, again, he's 15. He doesn't even know what kind of cuisine he's eating. It's also weird that he doesn't even know his mom's maiden name. And his friend, the girl, I was really glad she brought this up because I was like, how does he not know the maiden name? She's like, you're not ever going to be able to get a credit card if you don't know your mom's maiden name. I did not know that at 15, but it's a good point.
You have to know your mom's maiden name to get a credit card?
Yeah. That's like a security question for a credit card.
I do know my mom's maiden name because it's my middle name. So it's pretty easy for me to remember.
Well, we all have one of your security questions now.
There we go. My social is 1, 2, 3, 4.
5.
That's my favorite. Sorry, it's a total tangent. Do you ever watch Big with Tom Hanks?
Of course.
And then he's doing his interview for his first job, whatever, as being an adult. And the guy's like, you left off 2 numbers for your social security number. But it doesn't say like which ones, beginning, and it just says, what do you say, like 12 or something like that? Like, okay.
Yeah.
And he gives him his gym locker code for his social security number, his friend. You're missing 2 numbers, 12, whatever it was. Sorry, tangent. Back on task.
To speak to one of the very Utah-related scenes in the movie, did you notice the Winter Dairy truck?
Yes, that was one of my notes. If I took any notes, I think they showed a couple times.
They showed it twice, and I think it was the same shot that they repeated 2 times.
2 times.
And I noticed it, and I thought, is there some kind of Groundhog Day thing going on here? But it wasn't. It just was the same shot they had 2 times of the Winter
They were
Dairy
just
truck.
hoping nobody would catch it. And then Brandon just let the cat out of the bag.
I think it's just a sponsorship, so they had to show it twice. They couldn't fit green milk into the show somehow. When he finally does, so they go to Lagoon for the Irish festival, the Luck of the Irish festival, which, Lagoon, come on, why are we not doing this?
Every year.
Every year, I'd be there. They got the fun river dancing, the Irish dances, the booths. But the bad leprechaun, one of his henchmen, steals his lucky charm, and all of a sudden Kyle's luck is run out. And it creates a chain reaction to where he and his mom, since they're both leprechauns, they start turning into leprechauns and they're being noticed. Makes a lot of sense. His mom finally lets out her accent, her thick Irish accent, and she starts making them Irish food and creating fires in the house, and she starts shrinking down as well. So then they finally come clean and tell him, Kyle, we are not only Irish, you are part leprechaun.
But the dad is not.
The dad is not. He really is from Cleveland. But
Well,
they
we
never
never really learn his heritage because I don't think his heritage goes all the way to Cleveland. I'm sure it goes beyond that, but
that should
we,
be the part 2, is finding out where the dad comes from. Because they also didn't explain why he had a different last name or anything. Because they found his yearbook and was like, wait a minute, this is...
yeah, that's true, huh? What
They
made
just
it
kind of left it
seem like
out.
he was a leprechaun too, or something, right?
Yeah,
So
he just...
why did they have to hide his last name? Maybe that's one of those deleted scenes that
You're
we'll
going to
never
have to go
know.
buy the DVD so he can figure it out. But his mom comes clean and says the reason why they didn't tell him about his heritage and that he was a leprechaun is because we wanted to protect you from oppression we experienced a couple hundred years ago.
I remember that's the best part of the movie.
So the great thing I loved about this movie is there's multiple times where I was thinking something like, that doesn't make sense, and then somebody calls it out. So she said this, and he's like, yeah, like that was forever ago. I'm like, yes, thank you, Kyle, for pointing that out.
Yeah, exactly. So by the time he was born, that stuff was over, but she
Yeah.
still wanted to protect him from it.
What did you think of their foul shot drill?
It's actually not a bad drill,
It just would take forever.
but I couldn't figure out the beginning. I'm like, oh, does the whole team have to make 10 in a row?
Right.
That's what I thought. Cause I'm like, that'd be good because that'd put a lot of pressure once you get up to 7, 8, and that would make it more like a realistic game situation, right? But
Yeah.
I just can't believe, even without the luck of the Irish, he really cannot make one free throw for real.
I mean, he's played with nothing but luck his whole life, so he has no skill without it.
Well, I know, but even with no skill, you think you could make at least one free throw. But luckily, he's an honest kid because he could have just said, no, I had made all my shots and left the gym.
True. Yeah.
Or
It would
yes,
have
and when the
done.
kid asked him, like, how many you made? He could have said, I made them all. But but he said, I haven't made any. And then he just walks off anyways. So he gives up.
Yeah, he gave up, but at least he was honest about it.
At least he's honest about it.
So eventually he meets his grandfather. He did meet them when he was at Lagoon, but he didn't know it was him. But he was just talking about how he needed better shoes. They were from Ireland. And he's got this cool snake on the bottom of them. But he then finds out his grandpa works at this potato chip factory, and he thinks he's the one that
Doesn't
stole them.
work. He owns.
Oh, owns. Sorry. He's the owner,
He's like, which is a famous dude in the town, it sounds like.
and he doesn't
So
know him. But then he goes there to try and find the charm because he thinks he stole it. And I loved that all the employees were of Irish descent, or from Ireland, because they all had accents.
but I also find it interesting. It seems like the mother was the one who's trying to keep the boy away from the grandfather,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But the people at the potato factory were adamant about him not seeing the grandfather. Like, why you think they would at least message him saying, hey, this kid's here, and be like, okay. And because once he runs into him, he's fine with the fact that he's there. He doesn't say, like, what are you doing here? So interesting. They had to add some drama or some, and then even when he's running away from the security guys, like Kyle fully like assaults one of the, I think the guy in the golf cart. It's
Yeah.
not a big deal. Like,
He's
so
15. It's fine. Yeah, and then so he finds out it's this guy that was a Lagoon, and they chase him around Salt Lake, and they lose him. But then there's a rainbow. And what do we know about rainbows? What's at the end?
Skittles.
Skittles?
You can taste the
No,
rainbow.
a pot of gold, Nate.
Oh,
So they go to the end of the rainbow to find the pot of gold. And I don't remember where this quote came from, but someone said, in America, we don't believe in kings. We believe in baseball. Do they play baseball? Where did that come from? I don't
is
know.
that in the
Oh,
movie?
so they have, what ends up happening is they have this competition. They end up, I don't remember how they get there, but they find the bad guy, the bad leprechaun. They have a competition that transports them somewhere. If anything was not filmed in Utah, it would have been the scene, because it's just this random field, and they do all these Irish games and activities and such, and they reach it at a tie, So they decide the way to finalize the tie is that this random bad leprechaun is going to go play for the other team in, I guess, the state championship.
Yes.
No questions asked.
So even without his luck, the team is still good enough to make the state championship game.
Yeah.
And didn't don't they question that what's his name is the bad leprechaun's playing as an adult, and the refs just kind of like,
Nah.
yeah,
Another one of
let it
those plot holes, but they call it out and
didn't
realize,
know how to go around it, but like, yeah, sure.
yeah, whatever. And the fact that the grandpa's sitting on top of the hoop the whole time, just chilling there.
Oh. And then I didn't see it coming, but they won.
But it wasn't him, right? It was his friend that made the winning shot.
Is it? I can't remember now.
They win, you know. It ends with a good ending.
It's been a full week since I've seen it.
But he says, it's inside me, the luck of the Irish. But I think he does pass it to his friend, and his friend ended up making the final shot. So
I think
Bailey's
you're right.
thoroughly excited for that. And then the best part of all is them singing at the very end, "This land is your land."
Oh yeah, for the assembly, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
And Thurl Bailey's there again, helping sing along. But
such
it was
a great ending.
yeah,
It's a great movie.
Great ending, great movie. Really gets you in the
St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day spirit, and I was happy to finally watch this. It's not something I probably would sit down and watch by myself.
I did. And then my wife's favorite thing to do, because she worked for JetBlue and she took calls from the Irish Airways, or whatever they call it. So her favorite thing to do is an Irish accent. And she was even doing it the night before when we were at the emergency room with my daughter, getting her head stapled, doing the Irish accent to make her laugh. So I'm like, okay, you two watch this together. And even as a Disney movie, most Disney movie kids are glued to the TV, right? And
Yeah.
they watch it. But my daughter halfway through is like, I'm good. Like, kind of like, I know where this is going. I'm done.
Yeah, right.
But anyways, but I think my wife finished it.
I was happy to finally finish it because this was one of those movies they'd put on for us in elementary school every St. Patrick's Day, and we'd never finish it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because now they have more time, but back then they didn't.
Yeah,
right?
Back then it was like, okay, we're going to watch this before recess, and then recess came and we go back to school stuff, and I never got to find out what happened.
Never find out if he changed his luck. But after watching, so it was yesterday, I'm by the time this comes out, it'll be like a couple weeks later. But I'm driving home from I just got new tires in my car like a month ago, and I'm literally 100 feet from my driveway to pull in, and I hear this pop, like something hit my car. So somebody had some piece of like metal fell off their car or something, or off maybe their truck, and it like bounced up and it punctured my rear tire.
Oh my god!
But luckily I was able to pull into my driveway. So yesterday in the freezing cold, it was kind of raining and snowing. I had to pull out the spare tire, and all I could think of this stupid movie when they're arguing about, because they get a flat tire in the movie, and then the dad yelling at the grandpa, the potato guy, like, why doesn't he have a spare tire? And he's like, why would I need a spare tire? I'm lucky. Like, I've never, I wouldn't have a flat tire ever because of the luck. So yeah, that's all I could think about, changing the spare tire. So I'm glad I have a spare tire that I can use for a minute, but to go get my tire fixed.
It would be nice if we could all have that kind of luck, or just a little bit of it.
But I was lucky in the fact that it happened right in front of my driveway. I wasn't stranded on the side of the road. So maybe I have a little bit of the luck of the Irish in me.
A little bit.
Well, I am the tallest leprechaun. So.
You are, indeed. But what you need to do, Nate, is maybe to find a little bit more luck, is you need to make yourself a pair of shoes. You know why?
Why?
It's good for the soul. Thank you for listening to This Is a Place podcast.
See you next week.
Happy St. Patrick's Day!
Get your lucky charms.